I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Today on CityCast Denver, something's up with Illegal Pete's. For more than 20 years, the burrito chain was a local darling, serving up mission-style goodness and killer queso, all while supporting local artists. But in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of nasty stories going around about food poisoning, bad service, and even allegations that Pete's not treating his employees very well. And some people even say the queso sucks now. So today, I'm sitting down with the founder and CEO, Pete Turner, to understand what's going on. Oh, and you should know, this episode features some explicit language. Today is Thursday, March 20th. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Pete Turner, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Thanks for having me.
Pete, is Illegal Pete's okay?
Yeah, we're awesome. We turned 30 August 15th.
Because I've been hearing some stuff.
30-something.
I've been hearing some stuff that's like...
Oh, you've been lurking on the internet, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been reading some stuff that's like pretty troubling. And I have to tell you, Chipotle is my favorite restaurant in the world.
Good.
Listeners know this about me.
Good.
But I love Illegal Pete's.
Good.
And I've been going there, and I've been reading these things. I kind of want to read you some of these comments. Is that okay?
Sure.
Hear what's going on.
Sure.
Here's something we got from a listener recently, someone named B. Brooks. B. Brooks writes, Illegal Pete's has absolutely gone downhill. I used to love Pete's and would have it at least once a week, if not more, especially in the summer. My issues began around this time last year, so 2024. We ordered 3 meals for delivery, never had issues before, and every single item was incorrect in some way. 2 of the meals couldn't even be finished because it was extremely salty and sour, like to the point that you couldn't take more than 2 bites. Cut to the next day and we all feel really sick and nauseous, remain that way for a couple days. My last time eating at Illegal Pete's was this past January. While I can't know for sure, I got sick, so sick I had to go to urgent care. Probably won't eat there for a long time.
I'm assuming that person reached out to us and hopefully we looked into it because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like hearing that.
It's hard. It's a one-off story, but I have to say, I have noticed more and more chatter about this online. I wonder if you've noticed the same. It seems like something is happening with Illegal Pete's right now.
Well, here's what I'll say in our defense, I guess, and lessons learned. Last year was extremely positive for us in one way that we were able to open up 3 restaurants that we'd been planning since COVID, but that had been delayed from, mistakes that we made or delays with city permitting and banking and supply chain, et cetera. And they all stacked up in a 5-month period last year. So we opened 3 restaurants and a full remodel, 4 restaurants in the space of 5 months, which I've never done before and will never ever do again in our life. We got 14 restaurants. That's 4 out of 14. It's a pretty big percentage
of the whole company.
100%. We had hired, 200 new people. So yeah, I will tell you that there were significant growing pains that came from that. So yeah, I'm not going to duck that. So yeah, we're certainly not perfect. We're not Chipotle, your favorite restaurant, but we're not a multi-billion-dollar company, and I work it every day, and we did have challenges. It's just true, right? I've never done that before, so we're kind of learning, building the plane as we flew, or whatever the saying is, to a certain degree, just because that's the way it's stacked up for us. So. But we made mistakes, and I think there probably was a period where our consistency had been challenged. So yeah, it pains me to hear any and all of those comments, and we have, I think, a pretty robust and open communications channel for people to reach out to us.
Which is so interesting to me. I mean, as a, I've been paying attention to your business for a long time. I think a lot of Denverites have. A lot of people are invested in this as a local success story.
Sure.
I mean, you're known as someone who gives back to the arts community in a big way.
Yep.
Feeding people who come through town. Like, I think, the comparison with Chipotle is interesting because like Chipotle went off and became this big global thing, even though it was started here, but Illegal Pete's, like serving similar food, has always been the local darling.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, like seeing all this feedback, like knowing the challenges you went through. I wonder if we could just help people understand, like what is your side of the story of some of these specific, like when someone says every single item in the store has been downgraded to its cheaper prepackaged alternative. Like, what does that mean?
Not true.
That's just false?
Totally false.
Okay, here's another one. I love this. Let's just squash some of these.
Fine.
Pete's DU location served undercooked pork for a month after it arrived in place of a shipment of steak.
Not true.
Not true?
Mm-mm.
Here's one. Pete's doesn't give employees PTO other than sick days until they've worked for 4 years.
That is true. That is true. We had a policy pre-COVID that we would, I believe employees started earning PTO, 3 months in, 6 months in, a year in. But so employees start earning PTO at 4 years. But we're one of, 1% to 2% of restaurant companies in the country that actually do earn PTO. So yeah, that is true.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that again, that particular statement, I read that as well. It pains me as well because that was a decision that we made sort of in the depth of COVID when, we had to be tight, right? I'm sitting in an empty 5280 office building, right? So plenty of businesses, they're giving you free rent here, right? Mm-hmm. Had to go through tough times and make decisions that potentially didn't fit with their values, even though we are still offering something that most people don't do. But yeah, that's true. So I can say that.
Well, when do you go back though? At a certain point, the pandemic happens, the business has got to do right by people. I know you want to.
No, true. But, again, here we are sitting on 16th Street Mall, which is still ravaged, although it's beautiful. But again, I'm sitting with you in an empty floor of a beautiful building right in downtown Denver. So if you then took, again, you're reading these comments, but if you took the next step and we used to have these customers that were in these buildings support our business, which is 4 blocks down.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore. So it is challenging, and I'll do it when I will, and we will do it when we can. First things first, we still lead, the industry in wages. I mean, we were
what's the entry wage right now?
$18.81, and that's
minimum wage
plus tips. No, the minimum wage, the tip minimum wage is $15.81. So we are $18.81, and we were the previous mayor cited us on the Capitol steps for our living wage initiative and our minimum wage work that was recognized nationally to push the minimum wage. And he said that when we pushed minimum wage in 2016, which I was really proud of. And I was part of that advocacy to make the minimum wage pass. And then I was a founding member of Good Business Colorado, which I'm on the board of, to push for that. I testified for FMLI. I was on the governor's board for the secure savings, to implement, to make recommendations on how that plan is designed and whether or not we should implement it. Mm-hmm. So these are things that I have been on the leading forefront of and that I absolutely believe in. So, while it pains me that we can't do everything, we are certainly committed to being a leader in that, in how we support our communities, how we support our employees, how we support our vendors, how we support basically every stakeholder or stokeholder, as we accidentally called it recently, but we're sticking with it.
That's on brand.
But the fact is, man, you're right. COVID is gone, but it's got a long fucking tail. It does. I mean, you see it out here.
Yes.
You see, truly, man. COVID, everything. And I think a lot of people, there's potentially the assumption that we're taking advantage of COVID or something by taking away benefits. But the fact is, we need to stay in business. But I think a lot of people did take advantage of COVID and raise rental rates and everything else that makes our city that we know and love hard to live in. So that's why I absolutely believe in minimum wage and paying. And I'm actually the bad guy in our industry because, I've continued to speak out for that. I continue to speak out for that.
Wait, which side of the tip minimum wage bill are you on? There's this huge debate.
I pushed for it.
Currently, this one that's being debated.
I'm not
talking about 5 years ago. I'm talking about right now. There's a proposal to lower the tip minimum wage in Denver.
I need to be careful there. I actively didn't go testify against it, but no, I don't support it. Okay. And I was asked to, and I don't.
Interesting.
Just because it doesn't follow my values, right? But I need to be careful because I'm friends with all these people in this industry, right?
You signed on to this letter where by the owner of Jack's
to the mayor,
Fishing,
I'm having I've got a meeting tomorrow with Adib Khan, who's in the mayor's office. I'm friends, life is hard, business is hard, so you have to have real, honest conversations. So I just did sign on a letter because it's challenging down here. It's a fact, man. Downtown Denver is an incredible amenity that's going through a rough time right now. So we need to address certain issues, right? But so, yeah, I'm on that side for the industry, for downtown in general, but I'm on the other side I believe that our workers, our co-workers need to be paid to live in this town. I mean, that's why you see a lot of homeless people. It's expensive to have a home.
Sure
there are many other reasons, but the fact is, it's absolutely hard to live in Denver. So all of this is complicated, but yeah, I'm going to go back to your question about, and this leads back to the question of, are we degrading the quality? No, we're upgrading everything we do, while that one particular benefit about PTO, it hurts me too. Cause that is a choice that I wouldn't have made, unless our back was up against a wall and we had to cut a lot of costs. I don't know. So anyway, so that's true. Let's keep going.
Well, we were talking earlier about a letter to the mayor. I just want to clarify for the listener in case they haven't heard about that. That's a letter that you signed on to, a few other restaurateurs signed on to, including Juan Padro of Culinary Creative Group, the owner of the Jack's Fishing Grill.
Dave Query.
The letter said, between the out-of-control minimum wage increases, over-the-top property tax hikes, and the complete loss of seeming care for our valuable and unique business districts, we are struggling for our lives to keep these local restaurants alive. But it sounds like some of those are more relevant to you than others.
Yeah.
Some of you believe in others, which is so interesting, which is something I wanted to ask you about, because Illegal Pete's, you have locations all over the city. So it's kind of a good case study for how downtown in particular has been affected. Tell me about that. How is the business in the downtown location compared to the South Broadway location?
So downtown Denver, our lower downtown building, Illegal Pete's was in the Sugar Building prior to 2020. Mm-hmm. Actually, let's call it 2021 because we signed a lease for more space pre-COVID right down the street on the corner. We needed more space, and the landlord, we were in that building since 2000, signed a lease in 2000. We moved in 2021. Our lease was up, and anyway, we needed more space, so we
moved a block down.
We moved half a block down, but because we were crushing it there and we were bursting at the seams, we had to turn away so many catering, so much business, et cetera, et cetera. So we signed a lease there, I believe, January of 2020. So COVID hit, and we went from having the Lodo Illegal Pete's being our number one store to being our worst store overnight. And so that's still, while it's...
Is it still the worst?
No, it's not the worst, but it's far from being the best. While it's ticked up a little bit, it's still, it's still nowhere near what it used to be or we believe could be. So that's probably, part of why I signed on that letter was some of the stuff. Now, Fridays used to be our busiest day. Now I wouldn't say it's our least busy day, but that's bonkers, right? The fact that people aren't coming to downtown on Monday or Friday and all these empty office buildings, it's really difficult. So that, a lot of what that letter is addressing is very, very real and is existential to, many restaurants, service business, people's jobs, livelihoods, et cetera. And so that's very real, right? So, and again, what can the mayor do?
Yeah, you said you're gonna have a meeting with his economic advisor at Deep Con tomorrow. What are you gonna tell him?
It's totally different. I've got an idea around homelessness that I think is going to be awesome. And
tell me your idea. Tell me first.
Nah, I'm not going to tell you first.
Why not?
But I think it's
Tell
going to
me
be
right
incredible.
now.
I'm discussing it with Adib and Cole. They're homeless
This will
guy.
come out after your meeting.
No, it's all good.
Give me a hint.
No, it's going to be awesome.
Just a little taste.
No.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You've got an idea for homelessness that's going to be awesome.
That could really help.
You got to tell me.
No.
A little bit.
Dude, you'll read it on the internet, man.
Is it burritos? What is it? Queso? What are you going to do?
No, it has nothing to do with Legal Pete's. But anyway, so Adib and I will continue to talk. Like, we will, before, after, whatever, we will, I checked in with him after the, sorry, Adib, I name dropped you here, but checked in with him after that letter because I'm like, man, like, it's not we're cool and we can fix this, man. I know that, the mayor, it's not the mayor's fault. It's not like, and the mayor has been, it's a big problem that every downtown in America is dealing with. Right. So it's not like there are decisions I think that you need to be bold and act. You're never going to be perfect, right?
You're not going to tell me your idea. We're going to talk about something else. I don't want to talk about downtown anymore.
Cool.
This episode is brought to you by Denver Health. Not sure if you need urgent care or the emergency room? Denver Health has you covered. For non-life-threatening issues like minor injuries, abdominal pain, and even stitches and x-rays, Denver Health's urgent care is your go-to choice. Just walk right in. No appointment needed. With 4 convenient options, including adult care, pediatric care, virtual visits, and a downtown location at 16th in California, Denver Health makes it easy to get the care you need when you need it. But remember, if you're facing a serious life-threatening condition, head to the emergency room right away. Like seriously, like right now. Like if you're listening to this podcast and you need emergency medical help, you have my permission to hit pause and call an ambulance. Urgent care is here for those unexpected issues that need quick attention but aren't emergencies. Plus, Denver Health accepts most insurance plans. Please turn off this podcast right now, call 911, and then go to the emergency room. When you're sick, think Denver Health Urgent Care. Most major insurances accepted.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Are you holding back on foreign travel plans this year because you're afraid of the language gap? I'm not, because I have Babbel. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I'm learning Spanish on Babbel, getting ready for a trip to Mexico City. Babbel is the language learning app that gets you talking. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks or at whatever pace you choose. Babbel's tips and tools are inspired by the real-life stuff you actually need when communicating. With a focus on conversation, you'll be ready to talk wherever you go. Babbel has given me great lessons on getting directions, ordering in a restaurant, and making plans. And of all the things I'm doing in Mexico City, I'm probably most excited about the soccer game we're going to. So I was excited to learn how to cheer from Babbel. That'll be me you'll hear yelling, "Fuerza Tigres! Fuerza Tigres!" With over 16 million subscriptions sold, Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by a 20-day money-back guarantee. Let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting our listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Tell me about queso. You said that you didn't want to change anything about the quality of the ingredients, and yet a few months ago, there was all this hoopla about Illegal Pete's changing their famous queso, the signature ingredient.
Well, we didn't change it. We went with a friend of ours that I met in 2009 when we took over their lease on Evans for our DU location, the Canino family.
Yeah.
That used to run Piccolo's and many other restaurants in Denver for 50 years. They run a facility right down the street, Evans and Santa Fe, that does food for, they co-pack basically. So they provide food for, I don't know, Denver school system. They do, brands for different. So basically we had talked to that. I've been talking to Marty Canino, who runs it, with his sister Claudia. And I used to be, his dad, Clyde, was a really great guy, and he passed away a number of years ago. But like, he reminded, they're just a really, really cool family. And we talked to them for years. And when we got to a certain size of what our production was in our restaurants,
The expansion you were talking about earlier.
exactly, I was not happy with, and I'll just be very honest, as I will in everything I say in this, but with the inconsistency of our product at the stores. So we took our recipe, and it's the same recipe, the same 3 cheeses, our extra, or don't want to tell you the recipe, but it's our salsas, our recipe, but it's exactly the same. It's just, it's done down the street in a kettle cooker, which is made to do this, right? And so, but yeah, I mean, I think that's which again was something I had to sort of reckon with in my gut. Like, are we doing a bagged product? We are. It's our product that comes in a bag. But, your loaf of bread, I mean, everything comes in a bag. So like, but it was a step beyond, right? Like, so it is a step, but truly with our values, every decision we make, that I make, is going to be driven through the lens of our values. And this was very highly reaffirmed to me during COVID, right? Like, when shit hits the fan, your back is up against the wall and you may lose everything. Like, there was time we just had, like, everyone was like, we had to like save every penny, man. So there were certain things, but we still, as we were able to sort of get back to some sort of normal, we never pulled back from our minimum, the key tenets of what we believe in, as far as, paying our people and, getting basically the highest quality product that we can have right now. Like, for instance, so the queso we're paying, I mean, I'll say it here, I think I said it maybe in the article. I mean, it's 3 times as expensive, just over 3 times. I mean, so we're paying more for this. I mean,
Are the sales good post change?
Yeah, it's great.
Is it up?
It's consistent. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I was, just to be honest, and I'm gonna sound like a jerk, right? A little bit, because that's where in the internet, what you were reading, I had to read as well, just to keep my finger on the pulse of internet trolls. Yeah. I'm just kidding, but like, I have to educate myself on that. So like, yeah, I mean, we were not executing that properly. So let me just say that what I was trying to account for, and making sure that going down the street with someone I very much trust, and I would say that I'm personally tied to and emotionally tied to, I guess, they're friends of mine, and like, I've known them forever. That was a big decision, and it was to bring consistency and a better experience to all of our stakeholders, really, and to take complexity and inconsistency out of our restaurant in and I would call it our hero. It's a hero product. Like, people know us for that. So yeah, it was a big risk, man, but the values outweighed it. And yes, I'm very happy with it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to, that's exactly true. We did. I mean, we just did, but they're making our recipe.
Same ingredients, new process.
And it took, it took 6 to 9 months of like literally testing with Chewy, their head cook down there. Like, we're in there. Gabriel, our culinary excellence and innovation manager, and myself. I mean, fancy name. He's just a badass, our culinary guy, and he's a good homie. We're down there with Chewy, like running batches, like testing it out. So, I mean, we didn't take it lightly by any means. And so it really was meant to be, to really just sort of a declaration almost of our values, to deliver that product more consistently and at a higher level to our guests more often. Now, I will say, though, that being said, like cheese, I'm going to get a little like,
You're going to get philosophical about cheese on me?
no, I'm going to get a little like not philosophical. I'm going to get a little like technical. Like
okay.
So cheese sauces are made like, so they're made in these big steam kettles, which they're actually built to make sauces and soups, right? So that particular operation that they have down there, where they were doing their marinara sauces, they're doing like beans. That it's like built. Literally, those machines are built for it. So the cheese sauce, that makes sense. Now, what I won't do, which is, and again, I'm not going to say the big chains that we may have mentioned before. We won't get pre-bagged meat that had been cooked in Chicago and reheated. We're just not going to do that, because you do get what is called retrograde degradation. You do get each step from production, you do see a loss in quality, right? So we're not going to do that. But I absolutely see that it is a slippery slope, and I think that that's what people are worried about. Like, I think people, and I know that we're probably going to bring up another, are going to talk about another internet thing that had happened recently. But through all of this, I realized kind of what you're saying is like how passionate and like emotionally connected some of our guests are, which is fantastic. That's like exactly what you want in business. And that I absolutely get that you would be like, folks are worried that, okay, you're doing this, what's next, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So I get that. And I need to be very, very aware that, that is a slippery slope, right? But if it's values driven, and if it's something that the product will be the same or better consistently, then that's a decision I will make. Yeah. So we made that call, but I absolutely get it. And I appreciate how people are, that they care that much about
They're
it.
invested.
And
so
they're
invested.
like, it's coming in a bag. I'm like, it is. Like, I just can't say that it's not.
It speaks to the impact that you had for so long and still do, that people care this much about this particular product. Like, if I were you, I would take that. That would be very validating for me.
Yeah.
But also, you got to take the feedback. Think about it.
Yeah, totally. Like, and, I don't want to get defensive if I sound I am. Like, I've had to do a lot of soul searching around all of that and just come back to, did we make that decision for the right reasons, right? And the answer is yes. Are we the business that I intended to set out to build 30 years ago? Are we still that? And so to that point, and you will be the first to hear this publicly, but in January, I went through our manager and training program down in Colorado Springs with Becca, who's a really great manager for us down in Colorado Springs. And
you personally went through it?
She's a strong manager, yeah. And she was driving to Denver from the Springs for years. And so I thought I would repay her the favor or give her props. And I chose to go train under her as a GM for all of January into February. So I was driving down there 5 days a week. So 2 hours commute, 45 hours plus 2 or 14, I guess. And then work in my other job, which is president and CEO of Illegal Pete's, or not president, founder and CEO of Illegal Pete's the other 2 days. And then now in the second week of February, I took over as general manager of DU. So I'm working 5 days a week there. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I do my other job, which is Illegal Pete's. But it's awesome, man. So I chose to deep dive, like, people are joking it's undercover boss, but not at all. It's me, but to deep dive and get back into the thick of it, to say, is this working? Are we who we promised to be? And is it the business I set out to be? Is it fun? I mean, even COVID, man, COVID changed a lot of businesses, but COVID and human interaction, right? Just interaction in general, right? Like we're, and I think it's a good thing. We're all used to Zoom now, and that's never going to go away. But like, human beings interact differently. So we lost some of that at Pete's too. And I'll say that too, right? Like, and
it's so key in the service industry.
Dude,
I mean, it's everything.
Well, it's key in service, but you're right. But the transactional, like the big guys, like it's less so, right? But you still have to.
Not a my Chipotle.
Well, it should be good.
They're crushing it.
Well, that's great. That's fantastic. That's absolutely the promise. But I think the industry, but certainly I'll just speak for myself and Illegal Pete's, we lost some of our personal connected sort of value, I don't know, makeup. So I wanted to get back in and say, again, is this still the business that it can be? And can we start communicating? Can we start engaging? Can we start connecting? Again, I'm not blaming our team, but I think there was just a lag effect of COVID where, masks and everything else, people were communicating a little less, even interpersonally on the teams and whatnot. So I'm getting back in to see.
Pete, I got to cut you off here because I think you're dancing around something. I think what I've heard is there's a rumor of a situation at the DU location. And
I'm not dancing around. I brought it up.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to go right at it then because I want to talk to you about a screenshot of a text I saw from you to the staff of the DU store that seemed to be alluding to some kind of issue or incident that happened. And you apparently wrote, "This is what I expect from you," speaking to the staff, "and what you can expect from me. Hard work with a smile, open communication, a few other things, and fucking gratitude for having a job in a business that serves an enthusiastic public."
Absolutely.
You stand by that?
100%. 100%.
Can you imagine why your employees might take that a little bit wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Yeah. I mean, telling people to I think
that they should have gratitude for this job
they
where
should
they
have
can't get PTO except for sick days until 4 years?
Yeah. I mean, how many sick days do you get?
Crap ton. More than I need.
All right.
CityCast is a great company.
That's awesome. Yeah, they should have gratitude that we even have a job. I mean, that's the point. That there are customers that are coming in. I should have it. I'm grateful. I mean, and that's sort of my lesson coming out of COVID is holy fuck, we made it. We should absolutely be grateful. Truly be grateful. There are restaurants shuttering every single day. You're walking by 50 of them on the mall.
Yeah.
Truly. Next door, the Sugar Building, the space we're in, another, there's been 3 or 4 businesses
in
there.
Oh my God. Sophia's, each a pizza.
So I'm absolutely, I stand by every word of that. I wasn't saying that to them. I was saying that to the world. It was a mea culpa, man. I mean, it's basically, we literally we have fantastic fans that care about us, right? We should absolutely be grateful for that. I mean, truly, that I don't think that's anything to shy away from. And that's absolutely what I'm in there hopefully modeling, right? I'm literally showing gratitude each and every day. Truly, it is, and it's a good job in the food industry. I mean, I'm willing to, pay leading wages. And again, I will, the PTO piece, it's definitely in conversations. So again, we're working on that when we can. But yeah, we absolutely believe in providing, again, the best pay and hopefully the most or one of the most enjoyable job environments. But yeah, it's hard work and we do need to work every day and show up with gratitude and a smile. You just do. I mean, that's what public facing service is. It just is. So every Tuesday since COVID, again, we've done 2-for-1 BOGOs for teachers, healthcare, first responders, because I saw how fucking hard it was, how hard they were working during COVID. And we've done that post-COVID. So we see thousands. I mean, so yesterday I worked DU, teachers every week, man, they're treating themselves, right? As they fucking should, because they're taking care of our kids. I've got an 8 and 10-year-old daughter. So yeah, I'm grateful that we're able to provide that for them. There's people that are really struggling out there. So yes, I'm grateful that they are able to, have a place that celebrates them. And that then, does provide us the ability to hire more people, to grow, to provide jobs, right? We've got, at one point we had 500 when we were hiring everybody for all those restaurants last year. We're not there quite 500, but that's a lot of jobs, man, that are paying good wages, right? With healthcare and medical, dental, right? 401k. So I don't know, man. I feel like I don't need to defend myself to you, but the fact is, it is a good job. And I think
It's not me. It's the employees
No.
and the customers.
Yeah, not all of them. But I think you need to also, it's okay to be grateful. I don't think that's too much to ask. I just don't.
Pete, I got one last question for you. Tell me your homelessness idea.
Nope.
All right. Pete Turner, thanks for joining
Yep.
me on CityCast Denver.
Yep. Thank you.
We want to hear from you, too. Has Illegal Pete's been hitting different lately? Have you tried the new queso? I want to know what you think. The Denver Style, Mission Style Burrito Hotline is open at 720-500-5418. Again, leave us a voicemail or send us a text anytime to 720-500-5418, and you might hear it on the show. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell Chipotle founder, disgraced CEO, and perhaps one day returning savior, Steve Ells, about us. Steve, call me anytime. Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then. Give me a call, Steve.